Watch Symposium. I'm Austin, and this is part 2 of Danny G's collection review. Now, in part 1, link in the description, check it out, we looked at his 2006 Z Serial 16570. That's an Explorer 2 Polar, and a 1994 Buckley Tudor Day Date. And we're looking at his last 2 pieces here. All right. And he writes, here are the 2 pieces that I've just acquired and what I've given up for them. All right, so the first piece, a 1986 Rolex 16800 date sub. All right, that's a beautiful watch. Again, he says it's from 1986. They came out, I want to say 1987, the following year, with the 000, the 168000. So this would be one of the last of the 16800s. It would have a 316L steel case because with that 000 the following year they started using the 904L. And this is a beautiful vintage piece. And he writes, bezel insert has faded perfectly and has lost its sheen, starting to turn into a matte insert. Has a navy blue shade in certain lighting conditions. And that's one of the best things about these vintage subs, these vintage date subs, the way the bezel insert can fade naturally and take on sort of a grayish or blue tint to it. And yeah, that's fantastic. All right. He writes, stunning original condition, and all of the tritium, including the lume pip, has turned a light brown goldish color. You can see the picture right there. It's absolutely gorgeous. Dial is a shiny black dial. Date wheel has open 6 and open 9 numbers. And this is a beautiful watch. And you know, I have a lot of questions about it. And the questions I have are almost like personal questions. It's like asking a man, like, okay, how big are your wife's breasts? Or does your wife wear a thong? You know, it's just not something you really want to ask, but it's sort of a curiosity that I have. Is it a polished piece, I wonder? Box and papers? I mean, it's an amazing piece either way. And, you know, it's a decades old piece, but I'm curious about that. But again, it's a personal question. And if I were to run across a guy in the street with this watch and, you know, we were chatting watches, that's not something I would bring up. It's kind of, it's a little bit distasteful perhaps. And it's sort of, it's like trying to gauge the value of the watch. So, but I'm thinking about this. Okay. So anyway, let's talk about what he's given up. He writes, I've given up my 2018 116610LN, which is a sub-ceramic date with box and papers for this one, which I bought brand new. It was an even swap. Unfortunately, my wrist was just too big for it. Unfortunately, my wrist was just, I think he means the watch, the ceramic sub was too big for his wrist. Even though I do consider modern date subs the perfect one-watch collection piece. Will truly miss this one as it had a special place in my heart. It was the piece that introduced me into this tier of watches. I thought this was a fair trade since more subs are becoming available at ADs and the older subs are going up in value. Please confirm. Yes, you're absolutely right. I mean, you know, the number of 16800s out there is set. It's done. People are going crazy over subs and especially vintage subs. It's only going up, all right? Whereas the 6-digit ceramic subs, you know, they do go for premium on the gray market. But to be honest, I mean, as far as the professional model steel Rolexes, they were kind of on the soft side. And, you know, nothing like the Daytona or the GMT Master 2. And, you know, with a beer virus going on, I'm thinking perhaps they might even get to be about retail and some even below retail on the pre-owned market. So I think that's good what you did, and I think the even swap is a good one. And look, if it's if this is, say, an unpolished box and papers piece, oh, fantastic deal. But let's just assume not, all right? Let's assume it's just a watch only. I still think that's a good deal, all right? I still think that's a good deal. Now, there is a cost, and that's the usability, because while you can use this watch and have fun with it, and probably even go swimming with it, it would make me uncomfortable, because the last thing you want on a beautiful 16800 with that patina on the dial in the hands is saltwater breaching that case. And so you have to, if you're going to use it, make sure that the seals are intact. And I would have that checked out every year. And you're going to want to find a good independent. I wouldn't take that watch to an authorized dealer. Sorry, hold on. Yeah, an authorized dealer, an RSC, okay? Because they might get kind of cute and want to change out those hands, or, you know, you don't want that happening. So I would find a good independent where you can have that serviced and have that pressure checked. And, you know, my whole point in bringing this up is just to state that, you know, there was more usability with that 6-digit sub that you had, but I would have made that trade, even if it was watch only. But it would dramatically affect how much I enjoyed the watch. I mean, would I wear that watch? Perhaps, but would I swim in it? Probably not. The risk of water breach would just be too great. You have much more to lose than if it's a modern sub and you can take to RSC. I mean, you cannot replace that dial. You don't want water damage on that dial. And God forbid something happens to that beautiful even patina, and it just, and the hands and resting on the, you know, it could be a horror. Okay, so you have a less wearable piece, but you have a better piece, and so it really brings us to the question of how much like a sub can you use a vintage sub, and I guess that's going to depend on the person, and I guess it depends on how much faith you put in it, and whether you trust your watchmaker to make the seals, you know, withstand the water pressure, and it's an interesting question. For me, even though I'm sure it could take it, it just would stress me out. I wouldn't enjoy it. I wouldn't enjoy swimming with that watch. And so a lot of people would say that you just want to add. You don't want to sell a piece. But I get the feeling that the 6-digit ceramic sub was too big. And so I think that's a great trade. And I think value-wise, I think you did well. I think investment-wise, you did well. Usability, probably not. Now, you could always in the future, this is something I would do. You're talking to a guy that's got a couple of Hydronauts and a couple of GMT Master 2s, one to hoard and one to wear. Add a 16610 5-digit pre-ceramic sub. It would give you that usability, but a better proportion. And, you know, that would be one thing I would consider. Now, if you enjoy wearing this and you don't get stressed about it, then that's fine. You don't need to do that. But if you find yourself hoarding it or just getting more enjoyment out of keeping it in your jewelry box to look at than wearing it, but you think, I would really like to wear it, but it makes me kind of stressed. I don't want to ding it up, you know. Consider getting a sort of a wearable sub. That's what I would do. That's what I have done. And yeah, all right, that's me. All right, let's go on to the fourth and final piece, a 1996 Rolex 16700 Pepsi. All right, so this is a GMT. The GMT, just the straight GMT, the 24-hour hand and the local hour hand are attached, so you'll need to use that rotating bezel to use the GMT function, which is always fun. It's also full tritium. And he says, bezel insert has a nice eggshell finish. Stunning GMT that I've been chasing for years. I gave up 2 models and a little cash for this one. All right, and what did he give up? First of all, let's just talk about the watch for a minute. All right, let's look at it. So again, this is a Tritium watch, and again, avoid taking it to RSC. Find a good independent you trust. Stick with that person, and Tritium is beautiful. It patinas nicely, but it can crack. And if you love taking your Rolexes to RSC, and there's serious benefit to taking your Rolexes to be serviced at RSC over an independent, that's perhaps another video, then Tritium can be something you might want to avoid, because you can lose your hands and they can take your hands away, and you can request that they keep them. And I'm sure somebody in the comment section will say, if you tell them to leave them, they will. Well, not in Japan. They made me agree on my 14060 no date sub to approve new hands if they needed to change them out. And again, I don't want to go down in this rabbit hole too much, but I think it was just sort of, we'll try to keep them, but when we're taking them off, they might crack. That Tritium might crack, and if it does, we're not going to give you cracked hands back. Even if I said, give me the cracked hands back, it's all right. It's okay. It's okay. The Tritium can be totally gone. I just want the original hands. They'd say, no, we can't do that. We'll have to give you the SuperLuminova hands. And so I had to agree to that. All right. Anyway, so that will be a concern in the future. And, if this was, say, a little bit later of a model, an A serial, well, this is a 96. All right. So this would be a T serial. All right, well, if it was, say, I want to say the last of the 16700s, which would be an A serial, it would have the Swiss-only dial, and that would mean the Luminova, all right, instead of SuperLuminova. And, yeah, I guess I would be okay taking that to Rolex. Again, you might get SuperLuminova hands, but I don't think really you'd know the difference, and I think that would be fine. But you're definitely going to know the difference between Luminova hands and a Tritium dial once this thing starts to age. So anyway, all right, let's get back to talking about it. What did he give up to get it? That's the question here. All right, so he gave up a Tudor GMT Pepsi as it was just too big for me. Yep, I can see that. It's a thick watch. Too thick. That's the next thing you wrote. Wish they made this in a 39 millimeter size, which would have been the perfect GMT watch out there. Well, if Rolex and Tudor were real companies out to make a buck, we would see a well-proportioned Tudor GMT in the future, okay? But, I don't think they're really that worried about it. They're selling the watch, it's selling fine, and to put it in really nice proportions might cut into the sales of the GMT Master 2. Not like they need help with that, but if it was any other company, I'd say, hold, we will get a more well-proportioned GMT Tudor, but with Rolex and Tudor, I don't know. All right. He writes, number 2, okay, this is another thing that he traded in order to get this GMT Pepsi Rolex. Number 2, a Tudor Black Bay 58. Has no date, and in time I fell out of love with it. That's a beautiful watch. I love that watch. Beautiful gilt dial, and the proportions are great on this watch. But yeah, no date. He says, all of my watches need a date and a Cyclops magnifier. If this model had a date, it would give the sub-date a run for its money. All right, yeah. Right, yeah, having the date is kind of nice. And yeah, I like the look of a watch without the date, but it's just so nice to have the date on your watch, and it just kind of sucks to look down for the date and for your watch to be like, yeah, don't have it, sorry. So I can understand wanting to get rid of that, and I think you'd made a great trade. To be honest, I mean, you had to trade those 2 watches and earn a little bit of money, but I think you've got a better investment piece, and I think you've got a much more, piece with punch. I mean, that's a 16700 GMT. That's a really hot watch, a pre-ceramic Pepsi. That's a fantastic watch, and I would have made that trade as well. And look, you've got the Tudor for, you got the Tudor day date as a beater. Listen to what I'm saying. You don't want to use these steel sports 5-digit pre-ceramic Rolexes like tool watches. God no. You want to use your day date for that, right? But look, that GMT Tudor would it's more usable because that's it's not collectible like a 16700. All right. So yeah, I would have done the same. I would have done the same. I think that was probably a good trade. And what is he? He wrote something here. It's on the next line. Tudors are starting to lose their appeal and value. I think I've found the right time to trade them in before they tank even further. I'm very happy with my latest move. What do you think? I think people were treating those like Rolex steel sports and yeah, so I think you're absolutely right, and I don't see much of a future for those other than just great watches to wear, and they are. If you like those sizes and you like the dimensions, absolutely, but you have a watch that is going to go up in value, without a doubt. And again, you probably won't want to wear it as hard as you could have worn that Black Bay 58 or the Tudor GMT. He writes, here's some PayPal money. It's a very generous contribution. Thank you, Danny G, for your invaluable services. Have a great day in Japan, which is on my bucket list to visit. Maybe one day we could meet in person. That would be a great honor for me and me too, Danny, and we'll do some watch shopping together, drink some scotch, and talk watches. That would be awesome. Please stay safe, keep your wife and kids safe, and take care. Keep the videos coming. Man, what a nice email. Thank you, Danny G. Beautiful collection. Final thoughts, looking at the collection, it's beautiful. And look, you've got classic dial colors, 2 white, 2 black. You got your dive watch. Again, I don't know if I'd dive with it, right? And just get a Casio for that, right? But you've got a dive watch, and you've got the GMT. You got 2 GMT function watches. You've got your dress watch. Other people might say, a dress watch should be on a leather strap. I think a Datejust, day date. I think those are the dress watches that resonate with me. The tool watch dressed as a dress watch, which is what this is, with a screw down crown. And I mean, you can go diving with this Tudor if you want to. And it's beautiful. I mean, look, this is, if you guys follow me and my channel and you know what watches I have and what I'm into, this is what I would do. This is a watch collection I can see myself getting and doing and being very happy with. And I can see myself hoarding the hell out of that 16800 and that 16700. Try to have fun with it. Don't be like me. But, you can definitely wear that Explorer too. And I would. I do. I wear mine. And definitely you can wear the hell out of that Tudor. And, you're done. This is all you need. This is a beautiful collection, and you don't need anything more. Some people might say you could go with a high-end dress watch, a Patek or a Jaeger LeCoultre, or
Man on the fucking moon.
Vacheron. That would be, they're beautiful as well. Great history with that brand. But you got everything, and I would just leave it as is. If I had to get something else, what would I get? Well, I wouldn't get any more tritium dials, okay, because you get 2 is enough, okay, unless that's your thing. I would probably get a modern 6-digit. Now, you've already done the sub thing, and you've already got a GMT. And you want a date, okay? Well, and you could get a kind of a cool dial color with the Yachtmaster, yeah? Yachtmaster could be a cool one to add, a 6-digit Yachtmaster. Of course, I love GMTs, so if this was my collection, I would probably try to go with a BLNR. Or if you wanted to go to a little vintage, the 6-digit ceramic all black, the 116710, right? LN. That's another thing that would be kind of nice. And but again, you know, this is perfect as is. Let me know what you think about Danny G's collection. Thanks for the video, Danny, and everything. And take care. Thanks for watching. See you next time.